this go. Okay, so we are recording. Hi. We have Sammy/Sam/Samantha. I haven't decided what I want to call her yet because your Instagram is Sammy, so I feel like Sammy, but I was like, I don't know if I know her well enough to call her Sammy. But we've talked, I'm like, I don't know.
You can.
It's like the beauty of social media that you feel like you know someone even though you don't.
Definitely.
So that's just really cool. But we're gonna talk all things posting, host to post, and signing DTs. So I don't know because I don't know. Some people on here might not know you or your story. So can you just share kind of everything?
Yeah. So I started this business, like 2.5 years ago, which blows my mind because I feel like it flew by, to be honest with you. But I started this for literally just an extra $400 a month. Like I wanted to pay off my student loans faster. I had no intention that this would be what it is now today. I was pretty set in my career. So I was a restaurant general manager and I'd done that for years. I've been in the industry for almost 16 years. So I look like a child, but I'm definitely older. But yeah, so I was set. I was like, this is what I'm going to do. I loved and hated it, to be honest with you. I made good money, but also, I made good money, but also it was just the time was awful, having to be gone all week long or miss holidays or, people not showing up and you have to go back into work or not being able to turn your brain off in the middle of the night. That's awful. And so that was my biggest get. And once I started this business, I really just was such ignorance on fire. I really had no idea what I was doing, but I did everything she told me to do. And so I went Ruby in my first 15 days. And then I went Emerald 2.5 months later. And when I told myself, I was like, when I go Diamond, I'm leaving. I could pay all my bills with Diamond. I was like, I'm not waiting any longer. I'm over it. And I put in a 30-day notice 6 months after starting my business, and I quit my job and I started doing this full time. So I'm now a double and we're going triple, which I'm freaking stoked about. But I feel like a lot of people need to hear this and they see where we're at now and they're like, okay, well, yeah, she's double because she has all this time on her hands. And, she's home all day and she doesn't have kids, but it didn't start here. I would hide in the bathroom at work for 5 minutes. I would literally lock myself in my office for 5 to 10 minutes and answer questions. I would plan a week's worth of post on Sunday night, when I got off work and didn't feel like it because I knew that that's what it was going to take in the beginning. And weirdly, a lot of things, people will say it's hard in the beginning and then it stays consistently hard. I feel here it was hard in the beginning and it got easy. I don't know, it's simple. What we do is so simple. The hard part is staying consistent. So that's the biggest thing. But yeah, that's kind of my story. So now I'm a stay-at-home dog mom. I literally get to work from home. And that's kind of my life in quarantine.
No, I feel you on the restaurant stuff because I worked at a restaurant for 6 years as a waitress and that was bad enough. And I closed. So everyone that left their crap, I got to do it. And I was like, oh, this is wonderful. Awful. Yeah. So I feel you 100% for wanting to get out of that. But didn't you block Shay at one point?
Yeah, I forgot to tell you that. Yeah. So I actually blocked her twice. I found her on social media. So I never met her before, never talked to her before. I saw her posting and I was like, okay, this little girl's cute. She was 19 at the time. And I'm like, she's a child. And I'm like, there's just no way she's making all this money. I'm like, she plays sugar daddies. That's a thing here in California. So I'm like, that's gotta be what's going on. So she bought her car, I remember, or I think it was her Jeep still, when I had joined her. And she had this curtain rod in the back. And we always joke about this because she literally would keep clothes hanging on her curtain rod because she was never home. She was always traveling, always on the road. And every time I would watch her story or see a post, she's in this state over here, visiting this place, doing this. And I'm like, what does she not do? Does she not go to school? Does she not have a job? And so I blocked her. I was like, no, she's fake. Blocked her. And then I was still at work. I couldn't get her out of my head. I was like, I wonder what she's doing today. I wonder what freaking city she's traveling to now. And so I unblock her, a total FBI agent. What a creep. And I unblock her. I'd go see, and she's like, "Oh, I'm getting my nails done today, thanks to my weekly bonus." And I'm like, "Oh, thanks to your weekly bonus, cool block." And so then I was like so petty about it too. Like, there's no way this chick's like living her life and making money from her phone while I'm literally working 7 hours a week, like slaving away in this wall. Like, there's no way. And I was making good money. So it wasn't the money that was the issue. It was like literally the freedom. Like, she was literally everywhere. And that's what really drew me to it. And I finally unblocked her again and I messaged her and I was like, "Okay, tell me about your little business." And so we had a conversation and she like told me, and I like instantly fell in love with her. And I was like, "Okay, I'm ready. I'll do it." So then I got started.
And now you guys are literally the best of friends.
Yeah, so weird. So weird.
It's so funny. I knew like some of the stories, but I didn't know the full extent. So that just like made my day. That was hilarious.
Yeah, and she literally doesn't ever let me live it down.
Oh, I wouldn't either.
Oh my God.
I would not either. That's perfect. Oh my gosh.
It's
Okay.
awful.
So besides that part, some things I want to highlight from her story, because I do have full-time working moms on here and on my team.
I know. Look how cute the little nugget is. Sorry.
I know, right?
I'm
He
like,
turned
baby.
1 last week and they had to postpone his birthday party because of weather.
Oh,
and so they're having it tomorrow, actually. So she's on here. I'm so excited. And then Shannon's also on here and she's got a sick baby. So
Oh no, poor little one.
Too many sick babies are happening. So
Yeah.
stay healthy. But some of the things I wanted to highlight from your story, though, that I feel like, because I joined, if you don't know me, I'm from South Dakota, which if you were on, you were talking about, most people don't know where it's at, but that's fine. So I joined as a teacher. And so, sorry, I'm switching the video there. I joined as a teacher and I joined honestly for gas money. And I was driving an hour to work and an hour back and we just didn't have money. Wanted a family, and I'm not one of those people that says you can never financially be ready for kids, because I think you can somewhat be financially ready, because if I can't even afford gas, I'm not going to be able to afford a kid. And so that was kind of our thing. And we had something go wrong every year in our marriage for the first year. And it was like every month something went wrong, whether it was plumbing or our cars broke down or something. And so Morgan reached out to me in 2017, and asked me if I wanted to try her hair, skin, and nails. And I was like, no. I was like, I'm not about that. I don't trust you. Don't know you. Think it's weird. I just was like, not even offended that she sent me a message. I just didn't want to try the product. And then I started watching her stories. And then I saw her post more about the hair, skin, and nail results. And I was like, oh, I've literally always dreamed about having healthy hair like that. So I just kept watching her. And watching her. What?
I said she got you.
She did, because she kept posting. And then she would, my favorite thing about her, and I don't even know if I've told her this a bunch of times, but my favorite thing about her is that, like, with her interactions, they were so purposeful that, like, if I posted about, like, oh, my kids were going to contest today, she would ask me in messages, hey, how did your kids contest do? How did they do today? Like, she knew what was going on in my life, even though I was just some random girl on social media. And that always just, like, meant the world to me. And obviously that's probably why I reached back out to her. But I watched her for a whole year before I decided to join. A whole year I watched her. And financially, we just got so bad that we needed something. And I was like, all right, babe. I was like, should I do this? Like, am I crazy right now? Because I didn't want to be that girl. I didn't want to be that girl on social media. I didn't want to be annoying. I didn't want to do any of it. And he's like, if you feel called to it, like, God brought you here. And I was like, all right, let's go. So I did it. I went Ruby 4 months in. I got $1,000 bonus at the time. That's what they had offered. So that was really, really cool. Went Emerald, I don't even remember. I think it was like 8 months in, something like that. Maybe something like that.
Oh, good.
I can't remember. And then 8 months in, because we found out we were pregnant shortly after that. And then I realized God's true purpose for bringing this business to me was that so I could be a stay-at-home mom. And it's funny because I never would have wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. And it's no offense to any working moms or stay-at-home moms. No offense to anybody. Everyone does what's right for them. But in college, I was like, nope, not going to stay home. Like, I want to teach. It's what I want to do. Well, then we got pregnant. And then my heart was just drawn to it. And I was like, whoa, like, this is different. Like, I just felt it. And then he was born. And I was like, I broke down one day to day. I was like, nope, like, I'm staying home. It's just, this is where my heart is. And so I've been doing that now for 2 years in May. I will be officially like home with Granger, which is just crazy to me, but that's what I've been able to do because of this business. And so I paid off my car 2 years early. I've paid off 2 other loans. We're obviously working on our other loans that we have. We had a crap ton of loans when I joined this business. It's paid for random shopping sprees. When my husband lost his job one time, he had to go get equipment to be able to work out like in the cold, like South Dakota cold of like -40 cold. And we had to get him like equipment for that. And I literally had gotten so many weekly bonuses and commissions that I could just drop like $900 right then to be able to pay for it because he needed it like that week. And I would have never been able to do that if it wasn't for this business. So my baby's name is Granger, if you were talking to me. It's Granger. Sorry. It was the password to get on here. I was like, wait, why did I do that?
How did I spell
it? Right. Well, everyone thinks it's like Harry Potter, and it's actually not that at all. It was from, because we couldn't decide on a boy name because we decided on girl names really easy. Well, we love country music. Thank you, Emily. And so we actually had a Granger Smith concert, and we couldn't decide. And I looked at his backdrop, and I was like, what about Granger? And he was like, that's really cool. And so that's our story of how we named ourselves.
Oh, that's cute.
But yeah, so that's kind of my story. And so I was waitressing, and I remember having to work holidays, and that sucked. And yes, my job was like flexible with holidays in the sense of like, since I don't know who my dad is, I was like, I'll work Father's Day for you if you give me Mother's Day off. Like they were pretty flexible, but I still couldn't go see my grandpa on Father's Day. And like on Thanksgiving, I always had to close. And on Christmas Eve, I had to work. And it was just like things like that I was like, well, gosh, like I can't do this. My mom would get one day off a week. Well, then it wasn't the same day as me. And so we could never spend time together. And I just really hated it. So like you said that, I was like, oh, I feel that. Like that waitressing world just gets you. But the other thing that I want to mention is that you said you were ignorance on fire when you first joined. And what I want to highlight from that is you were like, I didn't know what I was doing, but I just did what Shay told me to do. And I went Ruby in 15 days. That's incredible. Not just that you promoted fast, but that you didn't know what you were doing and you just did it. And that's why I tell my girls, I've hit Emerald. I know exactly what you need to do to hit this rank. Let's just do the thing. You know, it's so incredibly simple, like you said. And so I just wanted to highlight that because I thought that was really cool that you said that. But I also want to highlight that you plan your posts out, because if you are a working person that's doing this business, similar to I was and how Sammy was when she first joined, it's hard. And you get home and you're like, gosh, I do not want to sit here and plan out a post.
100%.
As a mom, I'm freaking beat. I could be in bed right now. I really could, you know, because it's 9:20 my time. But that's why I plan out my posts. And so we have a content planning Zoom for our team on Sunday nights, and we give them host to post ideas, sample post ideas, before and afters, lifestyle posts. I think I got all of them, something like that. But we can literally just give them probably hundreds of comments so they can choose from that and then post throughout the week. So I thought that was really good too, especially when you're busy to do that.
Yeah,
so speaking
definitely.
of posting though, walk me through like your feed and your story, kind of like what happens on a daily basis. Cause I'm sure it's not the same every day, but on average, what do you try to do?
Okay. So on my actual feed, I always make it apparent that if you were to ever come to my page and just look, nothing about this says, hey, I do it works, I sell coffee, I'm a health dealer, spammy. So the only reason how people know what I do is if they intentionally went and maybe like stalked my stories or stalked my highlights or checked a caption, stuff like that. Because what I typically like to do is with my Instagram specifically, I just really like to inspire people. Like I want to show you what's possible, not really like tell you so much about like, hey, look at me. It's more like, hey, look what I did and look what I can show you how to do. And so that's been a huge thing that I do on my actual feed. And then my stories, I always just try to remember like 80% life, 20% business. Like you can talk about your entire like life and sprinkle one coffee slide in. That's it. Like, you know what I mean? Like that does it. And so I just really tried to be like tasteful with that. Like I'll post, I'm also a major goober. So I'm probably just into some shenanigans throughout the day, but I'll do like my celery video and I'm 100% honest. Like I'll come on there and I'll be like, listen, if you can take a shot of tequila, you can take a shot of this celery juice. Okay. Like I'll be real with them. I'm like, look, it tastes like garbage trash, but you're going to feel 100% better, you know, because then like they know my personality. And they know I'm being genuine, whether when I come on and I'm like, this is celery, you need this, like, it's amazing. Oh my God. But if I'm like, guys, this stuff's gonna make you feel so freaking good. Like they don't care what it is. And so on my stories, I really try to like provide like more emotional things rather than like facts. Because nobody cares like, hey, this has nootropics. What the hell are nootropics? Like nobody knows what that is. But if I'm like, guys, this literally has like as much caffeine as an espresso. It's cheaper than Starbucks. It's healthier. There's no sugars. There's no fats. Like this stuff's amazing. They're like, okay. You have my attention, you know? I'm like, if you have brain fog, you need this coffee. They're like, yeah, me, cloudy all day. Like, that's how you like catch people, and like how you really like talk about the products is like providing solutions for other people. And so I really try to do that on my stories. But I also am pretty like consistent with like what I like to call it core five. Pick like 5 things that you want people to know about you. So like if I didn't tell you about me and you went to like my Instagram, you'd probably figure out like, 1, I love to eat. 2, I'm a dog mom. I'm engaged. I love Jesus, like devotionals got all over my page. And I love to shop. Like, and also I'm obsessed with phone cases. Emily does that. But you would know that just by like going to my social media, you know? So I always say like, and that's like with branding yourself, like pick your core 5 and what you want people to know about you. And then just like blow your page up with those things, because that's how you're going to attract people who are like you. And then just remember too, like if you were to go to your Instagram, like would you join you? Like that's a huge thing. Like if you went to go to your post, like would you join you from that post? Like that catches me a lot, and making sure that I'm being like intentional with like my captions and really like providing solutions for people. Cause I'm like, well, would I try that product if I watch my story? Like, you know, because sometimes we can get lost in like all this, like it has to look perfect, it has to be pretty, but like, no, not everyone's like that. Like we're trolling 90% of the time. So the more you can be like authentically you, the better off you're going to be, because then people can actually see like your genuine self, especially like things like this. I'll show you. Like I literally got done playing with my dog and I don't know what the hell happened to my hair. Like if like static just blew through my body or what, but it was like pooped out to Central America. And so I put that on there, and I can't tell you how many people message me and they're like, dude, I look like this on a daily basis. I'm like, welcome to the club, sister. And it like started conversations like with people. So, you know, don't feel like it has to be perfect. Don't feel like it has to be like anyone else. Also, like if you go to my page, it's not like Shay's. If you go to like Britt's page, it's not like mine, you know, like we're all our own people. And so like the more you can hone in on that with your posts, like the more people you're going to attract, like that are your people.
100%. And I think I honestly get the most interaction, obviously with Granger, because duh, he's cute. But the most interaction outside of him that I get is from weather. Weather. I will literally be like, it's freezing here, and I'll put negative this, or it's snowing, or it's blizzarding. People are like, oh my gosh, I really want snow, or oh my gosh, I could never live there. And it sparks so many conversations, but it's the most boring thing that you
Genius.
ever talk about. But I post weather almost every day, and it gets people going. So I'm like, okay. But it's really funny that you mentioned how bad the celery tastes, because I literally gave my celery to Emily because I'm like, I can't do it. But I don't like tequila either, so that's a whole different story. But I just did the cleanse, and I did it when I first joined before I got pregnant, and I literally couldn't finish the 4th bottle because I didn't like it so much.
What? I could literally put cleanse in a cup of ice with a straw and drink it like soda. It's so good.
Oh my gosh, no way. But I thought everyone was like, oh, this new formula is so much better. It tastes so much better. I was like, all right, I'm going to try it. I literally smell it. Was like, oh, okay. Chug, like just downed it, because I was like, I cannot get through this. Text to Emily, this tastes horrible. I better have bomb results from this. So I did all the things, did whatever. Pictures didn't do me justice for mine, but I lost 10 pounds.
Dude. What?
Yeah. I was like, oh damn, okay. And so
I like this
about being really honest. Like when I got on my story, I was like, yeah, it's like a fruity Sprite with like a lemon hint, maybe, because that was like the nicest way that I could figure out how to explain it. So maybe I'll just be like, you know, I didn't really like the taste of it, but I do like the feeling of losing 10 pounds. So
definitely.
So that's a really, really good point though to think about, like, you know, because facts are good, because like I'm a green and I do like facts, but like I had no idea what nootropics were before this business. So if I could talk about how it makes me feel, that's a really good point. So that's something I'm going to take into Zoom. So thank you for that. And I do love watching your stories because they're always humorous. Always humorous.
I feel like my life's a disaster. So
but that's the thing. Like, there's so many times that I've been on lives and Granger's been like, blah, 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 like literally talking so loud that I can't hear myself think. And people are like, oh my gosh, that's mom life right there. Like, yeah, they're just so like thankful that I'm sitting there being real and raw and just like, nope, like this is like, I can't talk on my story without Granger talking, you know? So he's like,
Exactly. Because it also like shows other moms too that like, you know, your life's not perfect, their life's not perfect, being mom's not perfect. Like everyone knows that. But I think so many people, like, especially on social media, especially like bloggers and stuff, they're like, oh, momming is so easy. I'm like, you don't watch your kid then. Like, there's no way. Like, there's just no way. And so
100%. There's a TikTok trend
literally,
going around right now that I'm gonna do that these moms are like, and they look very attractive and I'm very happy for them. They look bomb and they're like got their hair makeup done. And I'm talking like date night hair makeup fancy. And they're like, welcome to mom TikTok. And they're doing all these like
yes,
sexy
I
dances.
see those. They're
And then
like,
these
this is
moms are
mom
like,
uniform.
because that's not mom life. Like, okay. So yeah, I agree 100%. You need to be real and raw. And like literally so many of my pictures on my Instagram are messy bun pictures. All my TikToks are messy bun because this is me 90% of the time. It's just, I
Exactly.
finally figured it out. And something I always tell my girls too, I asked people what they knew me for one time after I started like branding myself with my 5 pillars and stuff. I suck at doing my hair. I'm so bad. I'm the least girliest person ever. So I started going live and be like, all right, I'm gonna try this, and I think I'm probably gonna fail. So if you see this, give me some tips because I don't know. So I can't even tell you how many people messaged me about the messy bun videos of them doing it, showing me different ways. And I was like,
Love it.
this is so sweet. And so they like checked in on me then even like a week later, and hey, did that work out for you? Did that way work for you? Oh, like it was just so cool. And so now people know me for different hair ideas, whether it works or it doesn't work. And so that's
Yeah.
too, when you're talking about your pillars, like you can go to my profile and you can see Granger, Katz, Daniel, Faith. And if I lived near a Hobby Lobby, I'd be at Hobby Lobby every single day, all day.
Oh, best store ever.
Yeah, I could easily blow thousands of dollars in that store, but I don't post about it as often. But I always tell my girls, whatever's in your bio, you should be able to post about it. You know, so if I click through the first like screen of your posts, I should be able to see a post about you being a dog mom or, you know, something about you being a dog. So that's a really good thing to remember too. So I'm gonna move on to the next one because I know I can talk and then feel like I'm not getting to what we need to get to. Sorry, I lost my list.
Love it.
Okay, so I don't mind going live. I know the first time I went live, I was like, okay, just push the button. Oh, okay, I'm live. Hi. You know, and then I like got a little bit better. But I don't normally like speaking in front of people like that. But I do feel like it's different than stories. But even when stories came out, I was still like, I'm talking to myself right now. This is so awkward. Like, what the actual heck? And now I've gotten more comfortable with it. But I think being in the business for a while, it's hard sometimes to remember, okay, what was it like in the beginning? So what advice do you have people that are like either scared to go live or they're scared to like talk on their story because maybe they're just self-conscious of it, I guess.
Yeah. So I think that's so valid too. Like, don't feel like that's a weird thing because I still do not like talking on lives. Like, I hate public speaking. You asked me to do the Zoom. I was like, oh, maybe. So like, but I'll say yes before I can think about it because if I'll think about it, I would have said no. So I'll just try to push myself like out of my comfort zone because even still, like I've been in this business for almost 3 years and I still hate going live. Like, maybe it'll get easier for you, but it's not going to be easier for me. So I just really try. A couple things that I did in the very beginning was I would just go on my story and like put hands free on and like kind of just talk to the story, like as if maybe like one of my best friends was in the room, like talk to your like Instagram like they're your friends. Like, you know, you're not like a salesman. You're not like trying to be this like, oh, car salesman, like welcome to my shop. You know, like feel like how you normally would when you got something cool. You're like, okay, Emily, like I got a new phone case, girl. You want to see it? Like, you know what I mean? Like do things like that through your story. Because that's what's going to build that like familiarity. And it's also going to build that trust. Yeah, Dakota, same girl. Like I'm so awkward. Okay. Also another good thing that I'll do is like put like bullet points on like a Post-it note and I'll put that like right under my camera. So when I'm reading it like, it looks like I'm looking at the camera, but I'm really not, I'm reading my notes. So that's another thing that I like to do. Because I'll just like the camera turns on and I'll black out. I'm like, I don't know what I said. So hopefully it was good. So I'll make sure like I put some things there that I know I need to talk about. And that way I know like what I'm trying to get across and I stay like focused on it. That helps a lot too. But just consistency is going to help. Like, I know I don't like to get on my live, but like I can get on my live, you know? And so that just builds up over time with like practice. So just start and just know that like we all sucked. Like if you scroll to the depths of my Instagram, you'll see where I started the business. You're like, this is her first post. It's tragedy. Okay. So don't look at my pictures now and think like, well, yeah, she's successful. Look at her post. Like, no, sis, go down to 2.5 years ago and you're going to see where it all started. Okay. Where it was like 7 different colors of like filters in one photo. It was awful. Okay. I don't know what we were doing back then, but you know, just remember like everyone starts somewhere. So like just start, because that's how you get better, is practicing it over and over and over again. And then it just becomes a habit and it'll get a lot easier. You're muted.
I knew I was gonna do that at some point tonight. But it's funny that you say you do the notes, because I don't do notes, and I usually end up being like, brain fart, guys. I don't know what I was gonna say, and then I like post it, and then I like fucking okay, so I'm back. I know what I was gonna say now, but that's a really good idea to like get more comfortable with it, to put like a sticky note or something to where you're like, okay, I know what I'm gonna talk about. And like when we have like 5 million announcements that I'm going live, okay, then I definitely get my notes. I'm like, okay, I don't want to forget anything, but most of the time I can like kind of do it. But sometimes when I'm like telling my story and I want to say it a certain way and I'm like careful with what I'm saying, I'll redo it like 5 times because I don't like what I said, or I don't like,
or you like start speaking gibberish and then like in your head you're like, what words just came out?
And I have to watch my stories because I'm like, what did I just say? I don't even remember. So no, that's
what were you talking about? What company do I work for?
100%. Oh my God. Okay, so we're gonna move on to the next part here. Where do you sign most of your customers? Are you doing host to post? And if yes, how do you keep track of them? Because I know everyone's different. So like for me, because I know there's some different people on here, I keep them in my notes with the fancy little check marks.
Oh, smart.
Yeah, because the host to post trackers that we have, I can't do it. They really overwhelm me. Emily does a notebook method that, I can't even begin to tell.
You got your surprise?
That it overwhelms me, but it works for her.
I had a surprise for her.
Trackers. Okay, sorry. Oh, there we go. Some of those host to post trackers overwhelm me as well. And so like you have to figure out what works for you. And that's why I wanted you to talk about this too. And so basically when they say yes, so like if Sammy said she was going to post for me, I go to this note and I wrote Sammy Marquez. And then if I'm going to give her a hair, skin, and nails post, I wrote HSN. And then I don't turn it off until I actually see the post on her profile and I've saved it. And then I do that. And then obviously for me, I don't like entering them like as they do the giveaway thing. I just like entering them all at once. So then I can literally go copy, paste. That's all I do. And then when I do my follow-ups for host to post, so usually I'll do like 1 to 2 days right away. And then I'll wait a couple days. Hey, did you get a chance to post this? Hey, I don't want you to miss out on this giveaway. Because there's a lot of people, whether you're your mom or whether, you know, maybe your fiance comes in and you're like, oh, wait, okay, so what are we doing for supper? Oh, okay. Oh, wait, what was I doing? And you don't remember what message you were responding to. And so people have thanked me. And there was a girl that actually of mine that just won our last giveaway, or like 2 giveaways ago or whatever, that I followed up with her and she won it. And she was like, I am so thankful you followed up with me to be able to post that. And so I just wanted to like mention that, because a lot of people think they're being annoying. I'm like, no. Someone could win right now. Ours is $250 cash. $250 is a lot of money for a lot of people, you know? So that's how I keep track. And that's the most like peaceful way that I can do it. But tell me yours.
Yeah. So customers, I only do host posts. All my customers come from host posts unless they come from like Instagram stories, just like for me talking about my products that I'm using during the day. But host posts. And if you don't think host posts work, keep going, like do more, because they work. They literally work so well too. It's just consistency. And that's the thing where people I think fall off with host posts, is the consistency. So if you can like make sure, like I always tell like my girls, like pick a number, like it can be 10, it can be 5 a day, it can be 3 a day, it can be 1 a day, but whatever it is, you're doing it every single day. Like get it done. That way you can build that habit. Because that's how you like, I mean, host posts are amazing. Like they grow your following on Facebook, like they help you reach new people. Like they also work for you. So like people are coming to them with the intention of, I already want to try that product. So it's like, you don't have to do any of the selling. You're like, or the convincing or any of that, because it's like, they're ready for it. They're like, tell me what it is and how much it is and where do I pay? Like, kind of a thing. So
Yeah, and the other thing I forgot to mention, like with that, with like not having to worry about finding people, I don't mean to interrupt you, is that every time someone hosts a post for me, I ask them if they want to try the product. I'm like, oh my gosh, thank you so much for posting for me. Hey, just because you did that, I'm going to offer an extra special discount to you. Would you be interested on this product or even some of our other products? And they almost all the time, I don't know how many customers came from host to post, but the people who posted for me. And so there's that. And then there's also, I've like, feel like depending on the wording of the host to post can make a difference too. And not just like there's a specific wording that's like the magic host to post, but like I text very differently than Emily texts, and Emily texts very different than Sammy texts, and Sammy texts different than Dakota texts. And like we all have different ways that we like talk. And so once I changed all of my host to post to fit me, boom, they blew up. And I was like, oh, okay. And so that was another tip I was going to give real quick too.
Yeah, that's so good too. And another thing that you said too with asking them to try the product out too. Another good thing that I like to do for distributors, sidetrack, but this also helps. If a host to post blows up as well, I will go to that person who posted and I'll say, hey, I don't know if you ever thought about this, but I want to let you know that all these people are interested in this product. And if you would like to get started, I can show you how to sign them as customers. And I'd rather you benefit from it versus I. And I sign a lot of distributors that way too, because some host to posts do explode. And then they're like, oh, okay, I have people interested in the product. And it kind of just like clears that fear and like that objection already. Which is another good thing that I like to do too. So I'll like circle back with that. Like, hey, have you ever thought about doing what I do? And they're like, what do you do? I'm like, exactly what you just did. And they're like, really? I'm like, yeah. And then I just, talk about my story and stuff and like what we do. And they're like, I never thought about that. I didn't even know this existed. So I love giving that option too, especially when host posts blow up. But I do majority of my product host posts on Facebook. And the way I do them is, so once somebody posts for me, I save them. So they're all in the same spot, but I like to put like categories by the month so that I can check back with them faster. So then I can go look, like this chick posted it today, and then I can go see like when they posted it, if it was posted. Also, it helps me make sure that it's still posted when I go to enter them, because if you're not going to keep it up and you're going to delete it, I'm not going to enter you in the giveaway. Like if I can't even find the post, if you won, like you're not winning. So I make sure that, it's still in there, because like, for instance, like this person posted it and deleted it. Cool, one less name to enter, so I make sure too to look at it that way, just to see like who's looking at it, who's keeping it up there, who's helping out, things like that too. But I also like
commented before and after or anything like that on it, and if you do, how soon?
I don't,
because I did it first and now I'm not, and it seems like they're still kind of blowing up. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So what I like to do is I go try to be the first to comment, and I'll just comment with like a GIF or like a GIF. Is it GIF? GIF? But I'll just put something funny, like one saying like yes or like thank you or something like that, something animated. That way to like boost that post. But most of the time I don't comment before and afters, because I like to use before and afters in my close. So when I'm talking about certain products, or when I'm talking about like triple threats, what have you, I'll send them the price text and I'll send them a couple before and afters of that product, because also it just shows them, also it just shows them too, like other people are getting results, not just me. And it also justifies them spending the money as well. So I feel like, people like to see results. And so when they can see those, it's like that almost overrides the cost of the product for a lot of people. Like, and not saying our stuff is expensive, because it's not, it's so affordable for what we freaking have. Oh my God, like God sent, but like, it also just like helps that, like I'm a random person. So it kind of just gives them that like testimony on top of my word, which I really do like doing.
So he handed me him as you were talking. So you said that you send them the product info and then you let them respond, and then you send them when they're ready for the price. That's when you're sending the before and after, right? Okay, that's what I do. Is true. I just wanted to make sure that's what you were saying.
Yeah. So unless like they ask throughout the conversation for it, like other than that time, I just send like one or two with it, because if you send two, it doesn't pop up huge. it just pops up price, then like 2 small things. So like they can click it, but still see that I sent like the price text. So it's just really nice too, because it starts a good conversation. Like they'll say like, oh my God, that was 14 days. Holy crap. Like, I'm like, I don't know. You're telling me, sister. Like, it's amazing. So that's a big thing. But also I'm like, Emily, I love pen and paper. I just feel like for my brain, I retain things, I remember things more when I write them down. I tried to go digital and like used my iPad planner, and oh my God, I've never lost like so many people through the cracks of like doom before in my whole life. So I went back to planner, and I do it by the day. So everybody who posts for me basically is written down. If they haven't posted, I just go follow up in my messenger. So like I don't write down the people who haven't posted. I only write down who's posted, just because I don't know why I like that. I don't really have any justification for that. But I also star next to certain ones that explode right away. So that way also it tells me like, hey, pay attention to this one. But also too, it tells me like, hey, maybe you should ask her if she wants to do this, kind of a thing too. So that's been really like helpful with me following up. And I just like, these are daily slots, so I just write them down each day. So like tomorrow I could go back, like knowing I could be on this day, and I could go back and check these and like see what's blown up on them, what hasn't. I'll also like comment on all my hosted posts as well to help bump them up back to their top of their pages too. And that helps a ton.
So then how do you keep track of your potentials? Because like I do the planner method because I am very normally like pen and paper, but I keep track the exact same way that you just said. I keep track of my potentials. So like I don't worry about, in a sense, like I have my phone like I showed you with the host post, and then
Yeah.
say Emily told me she was interested in hair, skin, and nails on today. So I write her in my planner, Emily Parker hyphen hair, skin, and nails. And then Dakota told me today that she was interested in the coffee. So I go Dakota hyphen coffee, and that's what I do. But then how do you keep track of that? Do you just genuinely like go back and look at the host to post?
No, so I actually just do a master list. So I use the same host posts all the time. I only use 2 different ones, gummies and TFX. I don't ever stray from them. So I have a gummies list and I have a TFX list. And then I also have a distributor list, and I'll do it by the week. So like for instance, like this one's right here. So like distributor master, all of the people who are PDTs are here for this week. And I just try to keep them in one spot, because what I was finding is that when I was writing them down, like for instance, like this, looking back at that, I probably forgot about this chick. When I was writing them down by the day, I was losing people. Like I don't know. I don't know if it's like squirrel brain. What? I don't have children, so I don't know what my excuse is. Okay. So yeah, I started using a master list, and that's been so helpful, because like, let's say something happens, like pick 2 is not here and it comes back. I could easily go to my gummies list and say like, hey, girl, I know you were interested in this, but now you can get 2 for the price of 1, or, you know, whatever like sale is going on. It helps me find those people who are all within the same product, and also helps me follow up and connect faster. Because if I create one message and they're all the same product, I can go boom, 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 boom. And I just messaged 15 people following up all at one time. So
Yeah,
that's been
I
really
do
helpful.
similar in a sense, but mine are written down by the day, but I'm like beyond green. Yellow's my first personality, but I'm beyond green. And so I have a list. So like at the end of this month on the 1st, I take the time to put them into an Excel document. And so everyone I've talked to, I write their name, where I got them from, the first date I talked to them, and what products they were interested. And then I also have phone, country, and excuses too. And then I was writing follow-up.
You're so funny.
Way too much, but that's how I do it. So then I literally just search gummies. I just search gummies or whatever, and then all my people with gummies come up. But again, it does take a little bit more time, but it's the thing that brings me the most peace. And that's why I wanted to like share the different ideas too, because it's like they don't have to do what I do. Like, so like we have a mom chat. I know some of my girls aren't in there because they're still in their training, but Emily's in there and she's in charge of our tracker Thursday. So she literally sends different trackers every Thursday. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't think about that. Oh my gosh, I didn't think about that. And then there's girls that are like, oh, that's totally gonna work for me. And I'm like, ooh, nope, I'm good. I'm gonna keep my way. But it's whatever works for you. And so that's why I wanted to like kind of mention that, especially with host to post, because I know host to post can be so overwhelming. But once you find your like thing, it works. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's really, really good.
Most
Thank you so
definitely.
much for sharing that too. I really
It's
appreciate it.
also so funny too, like how different like color personalities come into play. Isn't that so crazy? Like how different like my follow up versus like your follow up, like your tracking versus my tracking. Like it's just like there's just so many options, which also kind of tells you that like there's not one way to do this business, which is nice. So like if one thing's not working for you, like find something. But also with saying that, if something is not working, make sure you try it long enough to know that it actually is not working. Because I know sometimes we get in this like weird funk, and like even if you're new or have been here a long time, like we're like, oh, this isn't working. Well, why isn't it working? Are you not working or is it not working? Because it worked before, what happened? You know, and it's like we get in these like on our heads and we're like, okay, nothing's working. And then you like really sit here and you're like, is nothing working or am I not working? You know, so I always just like make sure to remember like to give something a shot, like give it 2 weeks, give it 14 days, give it 30 days, you know, like you have all the time in the world in this business. So like figure
And
out
like
what really works.
consistently for whatever amount of time that you decide to do it too. Not like, oh, I got 2 up one day and then I got 10 up one day and I didn't get up any the rest of the time.
Yeah. I'll
No,
wash you.
so that's so, so good. Oh, you're okay, bud. And speaking of belief, with that, with like it's not working, host post doesn't work for me. Um, literally this just hit me 3 years in, almost 3 years. It's 3 years next month for me. Of like, if you say I can't sign customers or I can't sign distributors or I struggle with this, you are gonna struggle with that. And I literally thought these people were freaking crazy. Seriously, even 2.5 years in, I was like, okay, okay. And then we went to conference and we got together safely in a house and we had this reverse gossip session. And it was the most beautiful thing. My yellow heart just bawled freaking, I can't even begin to like put into words. But we had someone sit in the hot seat. And not that we sit here and talk bad about each other, but we said good things to each other. And it didn't have to be like a physical compliment. It could have been about anything. And
Love
my
that.
goodness, I did not know the impact that I was making on my team. And not by any means like I want to make an impact because I'm a teacher, you know, like and I think that's where that comes from. And it's not that I
Right.
didn't think I was impacting the team because I know there's people have been like, oh my gosh, thanks so much. And some people have asked if their moms can follow me and stuff like that. But I didn't know. And then there were girls that were like, you're the mom I aspire to be. And I was like, looking at my heartstrings, okay. And then this mom started crying. She's like, you don't know this, but when I joined Morgan, I stalked her page to find a mom that I could relate to. And you were that mom and you inspired me. And I was like, okay. And like, I was friggin' bawled my eyes out. But it was so needed because I didn't know that impact that I had. And the reason I bring that up is because after conference, I've signed 9 distributors this month. Holy freaking
Oh,
crap.
good.
It's insane. And so I was on Susan Wade's top enroller list. So that's why I was like ambassador, upline, or double ambassador, whatever she is. And I was like, oh my gosh, I was number 2. So I was right under Morgan. And that was like something that was big for me because I've always wanted to be a top enroller, but I don't think I ever believed that I could. Same with going diamond.
Mhm.
I made the decision to go diamond a long time ago, but I don't think I ever believed I could. And that conference, hearing those things, I was like, oh, I'm like, I can do this. What the heck? Get out of your gosh dang head. So now every time that I have one of those beliefs, and we're moving into the next part, I know we got 10 minutes, but I literally do not allow myself to have those thoughts anymore. The minute I'm like, oh, we had an enroll-a-thon and I didn't enroll anything, I signed a distributor in 2 LCs today. What the heck? Get out of your head, Brooke. Get out of your freaking head and shut up for a second, you know? And maybe
Yeah.
it's not signing a customer. Maybe you went on your story for the first time and you're like, well, I didn't sign anybody. But I went on my story for the first time and I make it like a positive thing immediately because everyone's messaging me like, how are you signing these DTs? How are you signing these DTs? Honestly, it's switched my mindset switch because I'm not allowing the negativity in there. And then also with the pillars, I'm like talking about so much outside of the business. You know, like you're talking about, you don't want your stories to just be it works. Cause like I don't want to watch a story that's just it works. I want to watch people's lives. I watch Morgan and Shay's story because of their travel adventures that always go wrong. You know, I watch your story because it's always hilarious. Something every day is cracking me up, you know, stuff like that. And so I'm like, okay, if no one on my social media, I'm not claiming this, I'm just saying, join my team or ordered products, what would I be offering them? Why do they follow me? And so that's something I think about. And I'm like, okay, I'm a mom. What can I offer? Mom guilt, mom guilt, mom. You know, like I can talk about those mom things. I can talk about, oh my gosh, Granger is starting to say these words. What words are your kids saying? You know, like I can talk about those things and it's working for interaction because I'm adding those people. And so I'm building those connections and I'm like posting about that. I literally just had a brain fart and I had something really good to say after that.
And adding value too. Like that's so good because you're adding value to all those people.
Exactly. Yeah, I know what I was gonna say. So I'm a C-section mom, and so when I went in to have my C-section, I literally felt like a failure. I felt like my body had failed me, and I literally felt shame in the most beautiful moment of my life. And I didn't know that that was a thing. Because obviously you go in thinking you're gonna have a vaginal delivery, and then it's like, we had to have an emergency C-section, and obviously it was in God's plan. I get it now, and He's here and He's healthy, so I'll take it. But it's like there are so many people out there that are struggling with that and still feel like they're a failure. And so I can share that too. And so like when you talked about your pillars, you really have to brand yourself and think about if no one on your social media is buying from you, what are you offering them? So that's something I wanted to mention because I think it goes along with distributors. Because not that like the girls on here didn't sign with me because they wanted the money or they joined for whatever reason. But I'm telling them, I was like, you joined me because of a reason. You felt connected to me or you felt inspired by me or something. And I'm like, think about that. When you're saying you look at your profile, would you join you if you were reading your post? So that's just what I wanted to like give quick on my 2 cents of it because it's been really working for me. And I'm like, negative minds aren't here. I'm like, not today, Satan. Like, get the crap out of my head. It's not happening. So,
and that's so true.
Signing distributors, and especially as a new distributor, when you haven't made the money or you haven't seen the success, or maybe you haven't even signed your first customer. Yeah, because you went Ruby in 15 days, which blows my mind. That's incredible. What did you do? How did you talk about that?
Yeah. So again, with what you're saying about the whole belief thing, I 100% believe in that. Like what you speak about, you bring about. And I think that comes down to like literally just how you react to things. Like if somebody tells you something negative and you automatically explode, like you need to work on something going on because something else is festering that's causing you to immediately react negatively. So you should like pour into yourself, like read personal development. If you have a hard time with like speaking great like life over to yourself, Power Words is a really good book by Joyce Meyer. And I think it comes down to even like the little things like I didn't sign any distributors today. Okay, like, well, we didn't ask how many distributors you signed today, but like, what good did you do today? Like, okay, you got in your story today, you drank your coffee today, you got a post up, like, you got this done, like, you didn't finish your 6 list, but you got 2 host posts up. That's freaking awesome. Focus on the good things that you did. Like you were saying, like, like you're not doing all this stuff, but like, oh, I talked to my story today. Yeah, exactly. I mean, like win the day, like that's so important. And those intentions are going to create so much more momentum than if you were to go out and be like, half negative. Oh, I signed a distributor. Okay, half negative, signed a distributor. Okay, cool. But like you could be signing 40,000 if you were just happy. So it's like, it takes so much more energy and muscle to be negative. Like it's easier to be happy. Like it's easier to react well and to react positive to things. And you have to remember, like, it's life. Like everyone's life is an absolute disaster. Like if you could walk in my shoes, you'd be like, holy shit, what? Like it's nuts, like constant like crap shoots hitting the fan. So but how you navigate it is in your control, and external things you cannot control. So give it to God, let it go, like literally, like let God let go. But wow, now I'm having brain fart. Do I have a kid now too? Like is this mom
Are you trying to tell us something?
Dang it. But anyway, distributors. So I agree with you 100%. Like what you really believe like is what you're going to attract. So if you are doing all the things, you could be posting, you could be showing up on your story, you could be I'm a grandma. Okay. You could be literally doing your daily 6 list every single day. Okay. Like I have girls on my team, like I have leaders on my team who execute higher tasks than I do all day long, who are not promoting. And I can tell you that the reason why you're not promoting is because you think you cannot do it. Like there's still something there subconsciously telling you that like either you're not worthy enough, you're not good enough, like something is holding you back. Because the work that we do is simple. And yes, you can knock it down all day long, but if you don't have the belief and the intentions that what you're doing is going to bring you to that next place or like that next position or like the next distributor or the next person whose life you need to touch, like that person's never going to come. Because if you think of it this way, like think of it in a sense of like God sending you something to help you with your business, like if you're a negative Nancy, why is God going to send you somebody to influence? We don't need no more negative Nancy's in the world. Like if your intention's like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited, like I'm promoting, I'm doing this, and your intentions are not straight, God is not going to send you the people because you're not ready. You're not humbled enough to like get there. And so I'm a firm believer with like, you have to make sure like your heart and your mind is like so good first, because that's where it comes into play. Like, for instance, Morgan does not message for customers. This chick signs so many customers from her story of people watching her. And the reason why is because she's like, I'm going to sign all these people from my story just from watching me. Like, she wholeheartedly believes that, and it's showing. And so when I first got started, you know, oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, literally, she posted on her story today. She signed 67 customers and 44 distributors this month.
And do you think she sent out cold messages? No,
this is literally, and it's crazy. They talked about that. I don't know if it was on our leader Zoom the other day or something.
Yeah.
In Michigan, but they talked about that, how Morgan gets most of her customers from her story. And you sound like you get most of your customers from host to post, but Shay, I think, got most of hers, well, she's starting distributors kind of like I am right now, from TikTok. And mine are from opportunity posts, like the color background stuff. That's where I'm getting mine. And the customers are coming from host to post for me. But it's people who posted, not even actual host to post sometimes. And so it's so interesting to me how you can get it from different people. But it's 100% like, if I go like, oh, Sammy, you should go to this movie. It's really good. I'm not gonna go to the
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. I'll be at home reading my book.
But like, oh my gosh, Sammy, this movie, goodness, you have to see it. Like, it's so dang good, or it's so dang funny, whatever it is. You're gonna be tempted to at least look up a trailer. And that's what I wanted to mention too.
Yeah, and that's like literally how I went Ruby. Like, because one, I had no idea what I was doing. Like, I was brand new. Like, I didn't come into this with experience with this type of like industry product, things like that. But I was excited. Okay. I had no idea what I was talking about. I was like, I'm earning a bonus. I don't even know what bonus I was earning. I was like, I'm going to be doing this. I'm going to be doing this. I'm getting a shopping spree. Like, I was talking about all the things that I was going to do. And that's really important to remember, especially when you're new, is like, I feel like sometimes we join and we're like, I don't have anything to talk about. Like, yeah, you do. Like, you're freaking gonna go Ruby. You're going to earn that shopping spree. Like, you're going to change your life. Like, talk about where you're going, because nobody really cares about what you've already done. Like, I can sit here as a double diamond and tell you that you have a better opportunity, brand new, than I do making double diamond paychecks, because I'm unrelatable at this point. Like, you know what I mean? Like, nobody's like, yeah, I'm sure she makes that money from her phone. Okay. Like, they probably think they're probably me. They're like, she has sugar daddies. Like, honestly. Okay. So like, you're more relatable because people only need a couple extra $100. I joined for an extra $400. I didn't join for a double diamond salary. I didn't even know what double diamond was when I joined, you know? And so you have to remember, like, why did you start? Was it for groceries? Was it for gas money? Like, was it to fill your tank up instead of putting $5 in? Like, those are the things that I talk about, because those things I like couldn't do. Like, you know, I would talk about going out to eat more, or just like getting to splurge, getting to buy that like outfit that I wanted to buy because I could. Like, those are things that like you should talk about, because those are great things. Like, nobody cares about a $10,000 bonus. Like, it's cool, but like, nobody cares, you know? But if you're like, I am so thankful because my weekly bonus just paid for groceries for the week, that screams, you know, to a family. Or I just filled my gas tank up and didn't even have to think twice. Like, that's different. Or like when you're talking about, like, I sat in my car while my gas was pumping and I waited till I heard the click. You know what I mean? Like, that's a big deal, because I know I've been in a position where I'm like standing there holding it, right? Like waiting, you're like, oh, okay, I think that's enough. Like, my card's about to overdraft. And so those are the things you need to talk about. Like, you know, did you go buy formula? Did you get $20? Did you sell a sample pack? Like, you made $20 cash in that amount of time. That's freaking cool. And so that's how I went Ruby so fast, is I was talking about the little things. I'm like, guys, I just sold, like, if you go look at my first post, embarrassing. It's literally like a keto coffee packet in the grass. Like, I don't know what. Okay, don't copy me. But honestly, like, that's where I started. So like, that should show you that like, you don't have to like be perfect. It doesn't have to look a certain way. Like, I was genuinely excited. I was like, guys, I can eat fries and drink this coffee and not gain weight. Heck yes. Okay. So like, the little things was excitement. And I think excitement is a huge thing. You know, just like the belief in just following that you know your leader has your best intention at hand, and to do everything they tell you to do, and then be excited while you're doing it, because nobody cares what you're doing. But if you're like, you know, like you just said, if I'm like, okay, dude, this pen is next level, your writing will literally look so good if you try this pen, you're like, okay, I'll try it. But if I'm like, dude, this is a Sharpie, this thing's so cool, it's like, yeah, it's cool, it's like a pen, yeah, no big deal. Nobody's gonna go buy that pen. You know what I mean? Like, nobody cares. They're like, okay, cool. Thanks for the info, Sam. Like, you know, so just be excited, because that's what matters. Like, if you got a new mascara and you went to go show your friend, you'd be like, dude, look at my lashes. Like, this stuff is freaking insane. You wouldn't have to tell her the brand. You wouldn't have to tell her what kind it was, how much it was. Nobody cares. They're running to Sephora with like couch change. Okay. You know, broke people will find money for things they want to find money for. So, you know, take that whole thing off the table. Like, people can't afford this. No, sis, she's walking around with a Louis and her bank account's negative. Okay. She can afford it. She'll find the money. So you just have to remember, like, create value, be excited, and be consistent. And that's literally how I promoted so fast in the beginning.
Man, I was going to ask you to leave us with something, but I feel like you just left us with something. I don't even feel like there's anything else to say at that point. That's so good. My God.
Thanks, boo. Okay, read a book. I'll leave you with that. Seriously, if you think you're going to promote without pouring into yourself, you're wrong. And I will tell you that I learned the hard way. So don't be me. Pour into yourself. Literally do some development, listen to podcasts, whatever it may be. Like, I'm not a good reader. Well, start learning to be a good reader, because there's no way for you to elevate, and there's no way for you to like pour into people if you don't even have the confidence to pour out of. Okay. And that's a huge thing in this business. Like, how are you supposed to lift people up if you can't even get yourself off the couch? Like, that's such a huge thing. It's like all these people, yeah, they're like, go to the gym. Like, what are you doing? Exercising your fingers? Like, no, I'm not gonna listen to you. You know, so make sure to like practice what you preach.
You should go live right now and just drop all the sass.
No, I can't. Sweating already. Sweating.
I love it so much. Oh my gosh, this was the best. Thank you so much for hopping on and spending your
You're welcome.
night.
Okay, wait, I want to take a boomerang. Turn your cameras on. Unless you're
Right,
naked, don't turn your camera on. We won't judge you. Okay. 1, 2, 3. So cute. Literally, this little baby is so cute. Oh my God.
No, right? I was a baby.
And yours is just passed out, precious human.
He did not take a nap today, so bedtime was definitely going to be decently early tonight, which is
Oh, little nugget. I love it. Well, thanks for having me.
yeah. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording.